We mentioned Tennessee with a 28% chance to make the college football playoff, according to ESPN's All-State College Football Playoff Predictor. Coming off a bye week into that Arkansas game, there were some struggles defensively. I think I have identified a few of the reasons why some of those took place, and I view it a little bit more as a one-off than some other folks do. But Austin Price is going to join us to discuss it now on the Higginbotham Hotline. He covers Tennessee for VolQuest and the On3 Sports Network. What have been the discussions around the facility on the Tennessee defense and specifically struggles against the run against the Hogs?
Have to really just kind of tighten things up. Have to be able to seal the edge better. The linebackers have to be better, Cole, and then the back end, the safeties have to play better. Tennessee loves what they're getting out of their defensive line. They love what they're getting out of their edges, but linebackers and particularly the safeties in the back end have to be better this week against Alabama.
When you look at the play defensively, kind of across the board, everyone wants to talk about the corners, and they have struggled. There's no denying that. Doesn't appear like Ricky Gibson and Jermod McCoy are going to be back at any point, but is there hope for their return at some point?
Well, there's certainly still some hope with Jermod McCoy, Greg, but not Ricky Gibson. If this Tennessee made the playoff and this season went deeper into the year and he healed fast enough, sure, there's potential that Ricky could heal fast enough to be back sometime, maybe late December, early January. But as far as the regular season, no, he won't be back in the regular season. And again, Jermod McCoy, they're waiting for him to head to a team period. The moment he heads to a team period is the moment his return becomes very real. Until then, he's just doing a lot of individual stuff in his rehab.
Visiting with Austin Price of VolQuest, the On3 Sports Network, covers the Tennessee Volunteers now. When you look at that defense and what they're going to have to do against Ty Simpson, we heard a quote from William Martinez a little bit earlier, and he was referring Jeremy Bernard discussing playing against Tennessee when they're in man. I know that's a lot of what Tim Banks has done. I don't really anticipate he'll do a lot of that in this game. Has there been any discussion of maybe which way the coverage would lean against this Alabama offense?
There hasn't, as far as, in the media. I think the biggest thing with Tennessee's zone stuff that they've done is there's just been too much cushion. They either play man or they give so much pad that it's the total bend but don't break. Let's let them move it between the 20s and then try to guard them a little closer when you get a little less field to have to cover and force them into field goals. Tennessee's defense has been opportunistic. If you look at the stats, just on paper, you wouldn't think Tennessee's been as bad as they have been, but third down and fourth down conversions defensively have been a bugaboo. I mean, they just can't get off the field. I mean, they forced teams into a lot of 3rd and 9, 3rd and 11, 3rd and 16, 4th and 5. And then on those downs, they give up 1 yard more than they're supposed to give up. So Tennessee's got to find a way to get off the field. I think Tennessee's path to victory here is get into a shootout and offensively put up points. Or if you're going to make any kind of hay on defense, it's got to be through your edge guys, through your Leos. Tennessee leads the SEC in sacks with 26. Caleb Herring, Josh Josephs, Jordan Ross, any of those interior defensive linemen have to really make hay and get pressure on Ty Simpson. If you let him sit back there, Ty's uber talented and really is playing well. So you're going to have to try to get him off platform and understand that he may make a play with those receivers that, forces the band to play on the other side, but I'd rather shoot the bullets in the chamber than just leave them sitting in there. Like I think you've got to bring pressure on the Alabama offensive line, bring pressure on Ty Simpson.
How would you assess Joey Aguilar's performance up to this point? You feel confident in his ability? I think he's a good player. I still think he's a bit of a risk taker, and I think you always run the risk of him making a poor decision, but I can kind of live with it. How would you assess where he's at?
Well, he processes it really fast. and you're right. He's got the gunslinger mentality to him. He's not really put the ball in harm's way a super ton for a guy that everybody talked about all the interceptions. I mean, he's got 5 on the year. 4 of them aren't really his fault. You hit the receiver or the tight end in the hands, it pops up in the air, gets picked off, or like the one against Georgia where Braylon Staley fell down. Again, you're throwing it to where the receiver's supposed to be, as you know, Greg, and the guy falls down. And I know it goes against you, the quarterback, but not all interceptions are created the same. So he's been better than I thought he would be in terms of that. Sure, he does like to try to fit it sometimes, but he processes it and gives this offense a hum to it that it did not have a year ago. It did not have 2 years ago. And I think that's the exciting part for Josh Heupel. But they have to be better. They can't have, pre-snap penalties that make it 1st and 15. They can't gain 5 yards on first down and then Lance Hurd gets a hands to the face and it takes it to 2nd and 20. Those are the type of things that derail the offense and derail what Joey and the receivers have been able to do. And so that's probably the biggest thing for me is, I love what he's given the offense. The offense looks more like it did in 22 than it ever did in 23 and 24. But they can't shoot themselves in the foot. They cannot self-implode with bad penalties on the road, which is something they've been, they've had a tendency to do.
When you look at this game coming up against Alabama, I feel like the physicality that we heard about being implemented in the offense 2 years ago, going into that season, it has stayed and maybe even become more of a mainstay and possibly better than it's ever been in this Heupel offense. I feel like the offensive line is much more technically sound this year. I think they're much better fundamentally. Now, they might not be as brutal as far as blunt force trauma as that group last year, but they seem to have a better idea of how it operates and how it works. And then I think Kitzelman's just been awesome. Like I think he was a solid player, a decent player for him last year. Like I think he's a real weapon for him. And I don't just mean like stretch the field catching the ball, but just all the different things he does. How important is that physicality in this game for this one specifically? Where does it have to be for Tennessee to get the win?
Well, Tennessee's ability to run the football, and they did so pretty well last week, and 260 yards or so on the ground against Arkansas, and that's an Arkansas defense that's not very good. But Alabama, if they've been prone to do anything, is have teams run against them. Where is the health of Deshaun Bishop in this game? Obviously, had 146 yards on 14 carries last week. Got hurt, never came back in. From all accounts, and again, take it with a grain of salt with injuries with this group, he's going to be able to play in this game. And if he's able to play, how healthy is he? If he's good, then obviously that's a big jolt to Tennessee's ability to run the football. Star Thomas has got to be more patient than he was early in or the last couple of games, because early in the year he was fantastic. You go back to the Georgia game, even ETSU or Syracuse, he was really, really good. Then he's kind of gotten impatient, and he's struggling right now. Can he get back to being more patient, see it a little bit better? Peyton Lewis is starting to come along. But the offensive line is more talented than they were a year ago, and they've performed well to this point in the ability to protect Joey or run block and open up things. And you're right, Kitzelman, the only time Kitzelman has had any kind of step back is when he's had to play too many snaps, and that's because Ethan Davis has been banged up. Where's his availability for this game? And then Tennessee started to bring some of those freshmen along to help Kitzelman not have to be out there for 75 plays.
That is a tall task for Kitzelman, and he
Hold
does.
On one second. Hold on, just because you mentioned this earlier. Greg brought up plays on defense for Tennessee earlier in the show, Austin. And what would you say, 77 a game they're averaging, Greg?
They're averaging having to defend 77 snaps a game. It's the second highest in college football.
Where is the staff on that? Because we know last year they rolled like 3 D lines in, and there's already been injury issues at corner this year. How aware is the staff of that, and how problematic could that be moving forward? We couldn't figure out how different that was from a year ago, honestly, Austin.
Well, they're aware of it. Obviously, they've wanted to go a little more tempo this year and get back to where they were in 22. But I think they've, even the last few games, have tried to slow it down a little bit. They got Jackson Moy back from Mississippi State. He's back, right? They got David Hobbs back last week against Arkansas, so he's back. That helps the rotation along the defensive line. Early in the year, you're talking about 77 plays. I think Bryson Eason and Dom Bailey, because Dom had to shift inside from his strong side defensive end spot, were playing like 67 of 77, right? Like they're playing so many snaps, and that just takes its toll on a D lineman. So they're aware of it. I think it's why sometimes you see Tennessee with the old injury on an extra point if they score too fast, just to give the defense an extra minute or two on the sideline. But they're very aware of, being out there for too many snaps on defense. But that's also, at least early in games. I don't want to say late, because I think you wear down, you get a little gassed, and that's all teams. But like early in games, Tennessee's inability to get off the field on defense when they are fresh also hurts them defensively, because they end up out there for an extra 4, 5, 6 plays on a drive when they could have gotten off the field. Or like, let's say at Mississippi State, Tennessee goes boom, 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 3 and out defensively, and they muff a punt, and and the defense is literally like hit the white lines, and they're having to run right back in there and have to guard their goal line from the 20. So special teams, offense, defense, it all works hand in hand to try to help the defense keep them off the field. And that's a great observation, because they are out there a lot.
A ton. It's nonstop. Another thing, too, with the Tennessee group, after the Georgia game, we're all sitting there like, oh, my gosh, these wide receivers are amazing. And then you dive in a little deeper. It's like, man, they drop a lot of passes. I think Staley's I really like Staley. I think he's a really good football player. I think he's a little underutilized. I think Brazel's a good receiver. I don't know if he's elite. I think Mikey Matthews looks the part and has a lot of speed, but Aguilar on the deep balls hasn't been as precise as you might like. So how would you assess this receiver core so far?
For a group that is super thin, for a group that didn't have a ton of experience, Greg, I think they performed really, really well. I mean, have they been perfect? By no stretch have they been perfect, but I think that they've performed well to this point. Obviously, Brazel, up until, I guess, last week, was leading the conference in yards and touchdowns for the year. Braylon Staley has been really, really good in the slot, as you said, and Mike Matthews has flashed hard when he's flashed. And again, a really thin group when you factor in their top 2 reserves are out right now with a knee injury and Travis Smith, and then a broken collarbone with Rodarius Jackson. They have to stay healthy, but Tennessee never rotates a lot at receiver anyway, because of they want to play tempo, and they don't want to have to, go, slow things down if they are trying to go tempo. So just got to stay healthy in that group. But it's been better than many people thought going into the year.
All right, just give us your thoughts on this game. What needs to happen for the Vols? How do you sort of see it playing out, maybe if it were to go either direction?
I think if you're Alabama, you want to get up on Tennessee early. You don't let them hang around. For me, Tennessee, again, has got to get pressure on Ty Simpson, and they've got to be able to score the ball. Don't hurt yourselves on drives. When you're moving the football, don't have pre-snap penalties. Don't derail yourself, because a lot of times when Tennessee's struggled offensively, it's because they've shot themselves in the foot, not the other way around. Tennessee scored 40 on everybody to this point this year, including Georgia, up until last week when they only hit in the 30s. So Tennessee's got to continue to keep the foot on the gas. I think if Josh Heupel can get off to a quick start like he did down there 2 years ago, I think he coaches this game a little bit differently than he did the one 2 years ago. So if you're Alabama, just continue to try to pick on Tennessee's pass defense, and it should be a good football game. I really think Tennessee is pretty motivated going into this game on the road. They know how it went down there 2 years ago. Alabama obviously wants to get this one back on their side of the ledger and be smoking cigars at the end. So Tennessee's looking for the first win, or first back-to-back wins in this series since 03-04. I was in college. You guys were, well, Cole, you were. Greg was in high school. A long time, by the way. And so we'll see if Tennessee can do something they've not done in 22 years.
Been a minute since this has taken place. Great stuff, Austin. Always appreciate the time, and I look forward to catching up with you again soon. Enjoy the game this weekend.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Good luck at your games as well.
There you go. Austin Price of VolQuest, the On3 Sports Network, joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services. So let's take Tennessee and Alabama back into that college football playoff discussion we were having a few moments ago. Is there going to be a 3-loss team that gets in? How many 2-loss teams potentially are going to get in? Because when you look at the teams that are scheduled or predicted to get in now, looks like some undefeated and one-loss teams possibly getting in. We'll finish that talk next right here on Jocks. So before the season, we thought three teams, or a team with three losses, probably got in to the college football playoff. If you looked at the All-State playoff predictor now, it would probably tell you a different story. If you just went by that. Now, these are just a percentage of teams they think they get in, not necessarily where they get in, how they get in, what their seed is. So that can obviously change. I think the one that probably surprised me the most, Greg, was Texas at 34%. Because according to this, they would be in at this point in time. And it's look great against Oklahoma. Nice win against Oklahoma. But you're at Kentucky this week, at Mississippi State. Vanderbilt, going to be a tough game. At Georgia, you kind of feel like Georgia sort of has their number in that game last couple of times. Arkansas, that one's an emotional one. That's a different one. That'll be a lot for those fan bases.
It's at home.
And then you got Texas A&M, Black Friday, 6:30 p.m.
Yep.
Whoa, Nelly, that could be a massive game.
See you in Austin.
That'll be fun for sure. They're sitting there 4-2.
I don't understand where the optimism. I understand that Texas will probably be a favorite in every game, but the Georgia one down the stretch.
The A&M game?
Yeah, they'll be a favorite at home. You don't think so?
What if they lose to Georgia and A&M runs the table from here?
Yeah, I mean,
You still think Texas will be a favorite?
do you think A&M's going to run the table?
At Arkansas this week, tricky.
Tough game.
Be careful with that one.
Tough game.
At LSU,
Tough game.
tougher if LSU wins. Do you not look at that one and say, depending on what happens to LSU this weekend, that could be a totally different game?
Disagree. I think regardless of what happens this weekend, LSU wins. Tough game. Always.
Well, yeah, tough game, but I think if LSU wins, then all of a sudden I think the playoff talk comes back. You're going to Baton Rouge after you just beat a team you were the underdog against.
Yeah.
I think everything really ramps up for LSU in that game, and it becomes.
Well,
I think let me just say this: the environment will be totally different. I believe if Vanderbilt beats LSU this weekend, I don't think the environment is going to be anywhere near its peak in Tiger Stadium when those two teams meet.
Fair.
If they beat Vanderbilt, that 6:30 on ABC, that game will be a rough game. At Missouri,
or
be a
you
tough
lose
game.
to Vanderbilt, and all the negativity back against the wall. Nobody believes in us. Galvanize the team.
Yeah, I don't think the
Gotta
crowd.
have it.
I don't think the crowd always buys into that though.
I don't
For
worry
the
about
team, yes, I'm saying.
I'm
but
not worried about the crowd.
I'm just saying environments they're going to play in.
They come out and get a 10-point lead early. The crowd will get into it.
At Missouri, I kind of feel like Elko has had a beat on that Missouri run game. I feel like he plays it well.
I feel like he's handled them for sure.
Then South Carolina, who knows what that offensive line will be by that point. Samford, and then at Texas. So it does. I'll say this: it does not feel likely that A&M's going to run the table.
No,
Mainly just because
that was 4 road games. It's just asking a lot.
Well, mainly because we've just seen the last of them at home until what? November?
Yeah,
They don't play at home again until November.
I know.
So that is that's a tough stretch to go at Arkansas, at LSU, at Missouri, back to back to back.
Very.
So it's and 2 of those places as the weather begins to cool off. Arkansas not a fun place to go when the weather starts to change, and Missouri not a fun place to go when the weather starts to change.
Not at all.
So it's and then you got to go to Texas as well. So yeah, it doesn't feel right now like A&M will be. But let's change course on this conversation a little bit. Why is A&M so hard to buy into?
Because they've never done it before. And because we've been here before. We've been all in on A&M in October for forever. And then all of a sudden they disappoint you. They lose one they shouldn't. And that's a hard thing to wrap your head around. And that's a hard team to trust based on past experience. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it, by the way. I think it's totally reasonable. I don't think it's unfair either. I think it's 1,000% fair for us to maybe have a little resistance towards going all in.
We have been there before.
Many
History
times.
tends to repeat itself. But there are also, I'm not going to say collectively, definitively, but there are also parts and pieces of this team that do feel a little bit different than the ones we've seen before.
You do not need to sell me on A&M. I'm all in.
I'm not all in. I will say that. I am one of the quasi detractors. And it's mainly on quarterback. Now it's on health also. You're just starting to get a little dinged up and you don't like to see that, but I just think Marcel Reed still misses a lot of layups. And there will be games that are close that those may end up being the difference in. And I think he's got to start making those throws if they're going to win games. But I love the defensive line. I think the second level is playing extraordinary football right now. I don't think the secondary is a strength, but you know what? When you got guys that can get to the quarterback like that, you can manage your way around it. I think they can be a ground and pound football team when they let them. They don't let them often, but they can. They have great tight ends. They have a big physical offensive line, good backs. Then you add the mobile quarterback to that, even though I know they don't want to live there.
They don't want to live there in week 6.
Right.
But that might be where they get to.
Yeah, I think they're just storing that on the shelf saying, when we need to take that down, we will. Like Mississippi State. Mississippi State, late in the game, they said, you know what? We don't want to be a quarterback run team, but let's go ahead and go.
Yep.
And get that thing in there now. And it helped them win the football game.
Correct.
So, but there's just that something out there with A&M for a lot of people. And I will fully admit, I am partially in that camp right now of just,
So who do you like most in the SEC if you don't like A&M?
Right now,
Captain line of scrimmage.
Right now,
Dirt.
If you're
hand
just
dirt
asking
squad.
who I like at the line of scrimmage the most, or just team most?
I know what leads you to liking teams, and I know it's line of scrimmage play. So tell me who you like.
It might be Alabama right now.
You like Alabama over A&M line of scrimmage?
But I think not just line of scrimmage.
Well,
no.
line of scrimmage is a big
Alabama's
factor.
got some right tackle problems.
I agree. And
Alabama's front is becoming depleted. I mean, they're taking hits.
I think the D line's fine. I don't think the D line's a group that can necessarily take over the game.
No, but I don't dislike them at all.
No. There's a big difference between disliking them and thinking they could take over the game.
But I don't look at Alabama. This is the reason I wanted to bring up sort of the next wave of teams and kind of talking about those teams that aren't in. LSU is a great conversation. Yes. I have more concerns about LSU than I have about Tennessee, than I have about Vanderbilt, than I have about Ole Miss, than I have about Alabama,
what about
than
Missouri?
I have about A&M.
LSU or Missouri? The surrender Cobra.
I'll take Missouri right now.
Oh boy. Oh.
The quarterback is not going to make it through the year. He's not.
Nussmeier?
I mean, he might stay out there playing, but like he's not going to make it. He's not going to be healthy through the year.
He's not going to be worse than he is now.
But if he's less healthy than he is now, he can't be as good as he is now. And you have inherent advantages when you play them. Like you brought up the Trey Green point yesterday. That's great. Somebody at some point is going to double him and say, we're not just going to let you lob it to him.
Fine.
Okay,
Darren
cool.
Anderson, go.
He didn't play last week. So how long is he going to be out?
He will be back at some point.
Is he going to be healthy? I don't know what his situation is.
He'll be fine.
Okay.
I think you're going to get into Gronk-style offense where Trey Green's going to play the X. You're going to have two slot receivers, and you're going to pick your poison. It's going to be Edelman, Gronk. Choose wisely, because that's the type of guy Trey Green is. He's that good. So double him. Fine. Cool. We'll work the slots.
He's not Gronk good. Let's just ease up on that.
Okay. He's college version of Gronk.
I like that you're just not even giving the ball to Barryon Brown or Xavier Thomas. Or
but those guys are
Nick
on the
Anderson.
other side. You choose. You can double Trey Dez.
Bauer Sharp. You're like an Oklahoma fan now.
Double Trey Dez. And
so let me ask you this question.
Pick your poison.
Looking ahead. Vandy, A&M, Bama, Arkansas, Western Kentucky, Oklahoma. Do you have confidence? I'm not saying necessarily against them, but which of those teams can successfully play man coverage?
Oh, you're talking about man? You're not playing man against LSU.
If you needed to double one, you would be forced to play some man against some of the others, is why I asked that question.
Or you just don't worry about the run game.
Or would you?
No,
I wouldn't.
That's why I'm not. That's why I'd say you can play cover 2 all day long.
But what if you played man and in an attempt to take away the quick game, knowing you'd get to the quarterback? Because you will. If you dedicate yourself to it, you'll get there. Is that who can have that type of success? Because I think A&M can. I think A&M can say, we'll bump you and maybe just try to take away the quick stuff because, by God, we know we're getting to the quarterback.
I'm be honest with you. For LSU, I do not like the matchup for them against A&M. I do not like the matchup for them against Alabama. I don't like the matchup.
Arkansas one we can.
The Arkansas game will be a hard one.
That defense should win that game, though.
But the Arkansas one will be a hard game. Because
Oklahoma will be a hard game. Because they're probably not going to block them very much.
Individually, I agree. But individually with Arkansas, you have a guy that can just flat out make you wrong. One guy.
100%.
I mean, he's that good. So that's why I think you better be real careful this week if you are A&M.
Oklahoma, LSU, total 14.5, over or under?
Over, but not by much. 20-10.
I think I would be with you on that one.
I think as wild as all this may sound, and as we continue to go round and around about this, teams I trust in the league, like fully trust implicitly.
It may be better to ask who you trust more than who you like. I think that would be a more fair way of having.
That's where we're at. It's a trust thing. Like, why did everybody get on board with, or why is everybody now on board with Indiana? And it took until now. Even though we told you 3 weeks ago that when they went and hung 60 on Illinois, nobody wanted to believe it. Why? Because they've never done it before. No, they're just Indiana. They're same old Indiana. It's a trust thing based on what the brands have done in the past. Whether you think that's fair or unfair, it's the reality. Why is everybody so on board with Alabama? Because they trust them. And over the course of time, Bama has proven to be a trustworthy program. Why does everybody trust Georgia? I think Georgia's as human as they've been in Kirby Smart's tenure.
Yeah.
And yet, I still trust them.
You should.
Don't you?
Yep.
Because I've seen them do it.
100%.
Meanwhile, I don't really know. You don't really trust A&M. I do. You don't. And I think that's 100% fair.
Not fully. There are just parts of it that I don't trust. I'm not trying to put them down. I'm not trying to say they're not good.
No
but
one's
there
saying
are still
that.
parts that I look at and say, I don't know if I feel great about that part of your football team. I do trust game day men's health. If you're lacking energy, getting poor sleep, feeling on edge, all could be the effects of low testosterone. They want to help you with that. Weight loss, they want to help you with that. All you do is go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com today, sign up for the free consultation, free PSA test, free testosterone test. They're going to get you weighed in, take a look at everything, and then let you know how they can help you. They want to get you back to feeling good. They want to make you healthy. They want to get you back to living your best life at Game Day Men's Health. Just go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Why not sign up for the free consultation today? Locker room environment, great people, stress-free. They just want to help. Holistic approach to health and wellness. Minimal upfront costs from the programs they offer. That's very different than some of the other folks in town when trying to help you with some of these issues that they can help you with. They also have the peptides in stock now that your body discontinues making over time. They can help get you back to feeling great. Book that free consultation today at GameDayMen'sHealth.com and know they are now open in Trustville. Who do you trust? We will continue the conversation around the Southeastern Conference with that next right here on Jogs. discussing teams that we trust. Let's move outside of the SEC for just a moment. We know who we trust there. We just mentioned it. Actually, you know what? Let's go down trust meter.
Trust meter.
Let's just say, what are our levels of trust going to be? Trustworthy?
Trustworthy is
some trust.
Just do scale of 1 to 10. Trust. Say trust them implicitly.
Here's what we're going to do.
Don't trust.
No, we're going to do trustworthy, some trust, and can't trust it. All right, here we go. Ole Miss.
Some trust.
I'm with you. Leaning more towards trustworthy or more towards can't trust it?
More towards can't trust.
See, you're falling for the Washington State trap, aren't you?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. My biggest problem with Ole Miss remains the offensive line.
They're getting better.
I agree.
And I hate saying that because it's still not really good.
My next level of untrust with them is their secondary. I think they have good personnel up front.
Fair. That's really fair.
I think they have good personnel up front. I really do. The question is, who's the team that's going to exploit them in the secondary? Is it Georgia? I think Georgia can.
Yeah,
I don't know if Georgia will.
They haven't even tried to live that life.
Is it Oklahoma on the road? Because Oklahoma's passing attack last week was underwhelming.
I feel good about them having a plan against that offense.
What about South Carolina? Not a passing attack that concerns me.
Oh, boy. No.
Florida's does. We've seen that story before.
Yeah, but are they going to...
Florida might have nothing to lose at that point.
You're right, but some of that is so dependent on how Florida decides to manage that.
I agree, but like their secondary...
Does Billy come out getting cute? Do they establish the run and then use that to get to the passing game, which is when it's most effective? Do they come out just trying to throw the ball down the field, which that worked against A&M,
Sure.
but then you realize pretty quickly, oh, we probably can't do this for 4 quarters.
Well, you should be able to, but can't.
They didn't. Yeah.
Fair.
I mean, then
All right,
Austin
so
Barber started getting knocked on his rear end.
the secondary
it's
is
over.
the secondary is the concern though for Ole Miss,
Okay.
correct?
It's one of.
I think their D line's fine.
D-line's good.
I think they've
Didn't play well last week,
I
but
think
they're
they've
good.
taken a drastic step back at linebacker. I think they are not what they were
Yeah,
at defensive back.
that's totally fair. All right,
But I'm not falling victim to the Washington State tape has nothing.
No, I was just giving you a hard
that.
time
That to
on
me
that.
is like they got gashed.
But
And they were
it's
looking
the same
ahead.
thing with Tennessee. A lot of people are going to take these one-offs and completely change their opinion on a team. Like I'll say, like my opinion on LSU. I mean, you can say it. It's been about this since the preseason. I've been in the same camp. There are not a lot of teams I've completely. Now for a minute I did. We liked Oklahoma before the year, and I think I started liking them a lot more. And I'm not going to completely throw in the towel on them now.
No, I still like Oklahoma.
But they have limitations in certain areas.
They do. I still like them though.
All right, so
Put it this way: I trust Ole Miss more than I trust Oklahoma.
I do too. I think they're a better all-around team right now.
Okay.
A&M,
Trust.
trustworthy.
Yes.
All right, I would probably have them in most trust or lots of trust, but not necessarily trustworthy just yet. They're well comparatively, they're probably there. Yeah.
Yes.
Alabama,
Trust,
worthy.
but behind A&M.
Okay, we'll rank the facets in a moment. Georgia.
Some trust, leaning towards trust.
Okay. LSU.
Some trust, leaning away trust.
Yeah, I can't trust it for LSU.
All the way?
Just because the parts that I can't trust lack any trust.
They're too good on defense for you not to trust them.
They're out there texting other girls while you're on date with another girl. Like you can't trust it. It just not happen. No, definitely not.
They're swiping.
They're swiping at dinner.
Where do you
in front of the other
swipe
girl.
right for the keep?
I don't
swipe
want
left.
to say it wrong. So
Right for yes, left for no.
All right, so you're swiping left on LSU, or no?
while you're at dinner with another girl
Okay.
you're dating,
Gotcha.
yes,
All right,
and texting a different girl
Fair.
at the same time.
love it.
Tennessee.
Some trust, leaning towards trust.
Yeah, I would be right there with you on that one as well. Oklahoma.
Some trust, leaning away trust.
Missouri.
Some trust, leaning towards trust.
Vandy.
Trustworthy.
And see, I like that you went there because with this practice, I think people would get clouded vision by looking at how good they are or are not. But for this conversation, I'm 100% with you on Vandy. Yes, they are what they are. And sometimes that's going to be really tough for people to handle. Other times they may be better suited to handle that. So I'm with you there and feel like that's where they should be. It doesn't mean they're a better team than Ole Miss, Georgia, Tennessee, or Oklahoma or Missouri. But, yes, I trust them implicitly more. Texas.
Some trust leaning towards trustworthy.
Wow. So we have 3 teams that we trust. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams that we have some trust in.
But there's leans.
There are definite leans. And then there's one team that we don't trust. You do trust them, some, but I don't. I'm putting LSU, can't trust it. So when you look at all of that, where we started this conversation of who gets into the college football playoff and why, I think it almost reverses course a little bit, and maybe we do have a 3-loss team in after all. Because if all of these teams